The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Now today we have a great guest, and we already had some questions this morning that came in about legal issues. Really thrilled to welcome Inés Kuperschmit to the show from Learning Rights, a great organization, and unbelievably it's the first time that they've been on the show, but they're very near and dear literally to my heart, and I'll tell you why, and it has to do with this necklace a little bit later on. Okay. But we're thrilled.
Yes, and she was a very important part of our Autismo y Familia conference. She is Spanish speaking. I believe she's from
Colombia, I think.
Colombia.
Or maybe is it Argentina? I'm not sure.
I don't know,
I'm misspeaking.
I'm telling you, this woman is a dynamo. She graduated from UCLA School of Law, and then she got her Bachelor of Arts with honors from University of Virginia. She has 3 little boys. And she is an advocate and such a wealth of information. So we're gonna, and don't hesitate to write in with your questions for this high-level advocate who, you know, it's hard to get access to a person like this. So let's don't take any more time.
Yeah, let's take a break and we'll be back with Inés Kuperschmit.
Okay, we'll just explain.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. We caught you on
we're having problems with my IFB, which is this little thing where I get to hear the guests and I get to hear Kelby, so I can't hear anything. So Shannon, I'm going to have to read Inés's lips.
In any case, we have Inés Kuperschmit with us, and we were talking with her during the break because I know you were very excited because I'm familiar with Learning Rights, but you had an opportunity to meet Inés at a recent event.
Well, we Act Today held as part of our Act Today Espanol program, we held a conference called Autismo y Familia, and Inés was one of our keynote speakers, and in the breakout session she had a packed room of Spanish-speaking parents that wanted to ask her questions directly. I'm just going to give you a little bit of her bio because we could go on for days. She co-founded the Learning Rights Law Center together with Janine Steele in 2005. She's now co-executive director. She previously was a staff attorney and Skadden Fellow at Public Counsel, where she represented youth in the juvenile justice and foster care system. And she's enjoys teaching as much as lawyering. She's taught a graduate course at Antioch University, and she has a degree from UCLA School of Law and graduated with high honors from the University of Virginia, and she has 3 little boys. So, superwoman. Welcome, Inés.
Thank you.
So thrilled to have you here. And I was mentioning before, Janine Steele is the person that I have met before. But for our audience, tell us what the mission of Learning Rights is.
Sure. The mission of Learning Rights is to ensure an equitable access to the public education system. So we believe that everybody has a right to learn, and we provide free legal services to help ensure that everyone does learn by accessing their schools.
Well, we think that that's a wonderful mission. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you guys, why did you and Janine have this idea to start this?
Well, both Janine and I were legal advocates here in Los Angeles, and we were working with other nonprofits that were wonderful to work with, but we really felt that there was a need for a nonprofit to focus exclusively on education rights. Education rights encompass so many aspects of a child's life that we felt it was important to not have our time divided amongst other types of activities. And when we looked around and realized there was none, we realized we should found it. So it was a real privilege to have met Janine and to have founded Learning Rights with her, and it's been a real wonderful voyage since 2005. We'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary next year.
And we're thrilled that you guys are around. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about what are some of the typical struggles that families have that they bring to you guys?
Sure. We've got a couple of different programs, and one of our programs is our brief services, and that's where a client will come in through the front door and talk about whatever their problems is, and we try to give them legal advice right there on the spot, including an action plan. And if we look at our brief legal services clinics, we see a lot of parents who have been asking for the same types of services or more services repeatedly, and they've hit a wall, and they just don't know how to take their advocacy to the next level. So sometimes it's somebody who says, look, my child is not making any gains in the area of speech and language, or my child's had behavior for years and it's not being addressed. I keep asking, and I just don't know how to get to the next step.
Okay, and then in particular, we wanted to take a minute to talk about the Latino families, because they have some very unique challenges that they face, and we were hoping you could talk to us about what some of those are.
Yeah, here in Los Angeles Unified School District, the majority of students are of Spanish-speaking descent. So we do serve very large numbers of Latino families and are happy to do so. We've got lots of bilingual staff, including myself. I'm proud to have been born in Argentina and speak Spanish, and it's a great tool when serving the special needs community here in LA. Folks who have language access issues have yet more difficulty getting the services they need for their child, because sometimes things like IEPs are not translated into the language that they speak. Sometimes there are not appropriate interpreters present at IEP meetings. And occasionally there are school districts who take advantage of the fact that the parent is not a native speaker to get them to sign papers or sign consent forms that they simply don't understand because it's not written in their native language.
Absolutely.
What do you wish that the Latino families knew about their rights that you find that they don't know, Inés?
Well, one thing I think is hugely important, especially in the wake of an LA Times article that talked about the fact that West Side parents, where it's socioeconomically higher as compared with other low-income areas of LA, they're getting behavior aids at 10 times the rate of low-income families in other parts of Los Angeles. So really what we see is that if you raise your voice and you speak up for your rights, you can get the services that your child needs in order to become a productive member of society and in order to be appropriate for their needs. So I really want our Latino community to not be afraid to speak up, regardless of language barriers, regardless of immigration status. Your children have a right to a public education, and if you can't do it on your own, there are agencies like Learning Rights Law Center who are there to help you.
And where can people find out more about Learning Rights?
Wonderful. Well, we have a website, www.learningrights.org. You can also follow us on Facebook at Learning Rights, and we provide free legal services for low-income families. So whether they call us or contact us through the website or Facebook, we're happy to help those who qualify. And if they don't qualify for free legal services, we're happy to refer that family to other legal service providers in the area who are also skilled at obtaining help for kids with special needs.
Okay, great. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back because we have some questions that viewers have written in that we want to address, and we've got some more things that we want to talk about with you while we have you, because this is a rare, fun opportunity. So for our folks at home, stick with us. We're going to be right back after these messages. Welcome back. We're here, Nancy and I are here, and we have Inés Kuperschmit, who is on Skype with us, and she is from Learning Rights Law Center. So thrilled that we have her here with us. And we've got you back online, so you can be asking questions in here.
I had earwax in my IFB, so Shannon very scientifically got a pen and got the earwax out. These glamorous
might
things
be TMI. I don't know.
TMI. Okay, so we do have some questions, right, Shannon?
Absolutely, absolutely. We had a question in the last hour with Dr. Doreen where somebody wrote in and said, my child is starting high school next year, and we're being told that he has to attend the IEP. We haven't told him yet about his diagnosis. Is this true that he has to attend? We had somebody write in and say that in Wisconsin, it's the law that starting at 14 that they have to be at the IEP. But you wanted to weigh in on this a little bit, Inés, with some more information.
Sure. Federal law is clear in the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act that a student must be invited to their IEP. Typically, that's when they turn 14 and the transition services start to be discussed. So while I'm not familiar with Wisconsin law, I'm a California barred lawyer, I suspect that it could be that they must be invited, not that they have to attend. Okay. Similar with parents. Parents must be invited, but of course a parent could waive their right to attend. I think that there are great benefits for both the student and the parent to attend. Of course, parental participation and student participation can be critical to developing an IEP that's appropriate and tailored to meet the unique needs of the student. But I'm not certain that they would actually be required to attend, at least not under California law.
Okay. And then we had another person who wrote in and said, I'm thinking about starting up a business in Appleton, Wisconsin. I have no business background. My background is IEPs and how frustrated parents, teachers, and students can get at the meeting and throughout the school year. And they're curious, they want to know, how do you run your business? Because I think maybe they're thinking of starting their own business.
Well, I applaud anyone who wants to get into the field of advocacy. There's huge needs for advocates all over the country to ensure that there is no discrimination for children with disabilities and for students generally. So I applaud the effort. You know, when Janine Steele and I started Learning Rights Law Center back in 2005, neither of us had a business background either. We're both trained lawyers, and but passion can get you far and research can get you far. I think that the most important thing that I would tell anyone trying to get into the business of education advocacy is to spend some time in a mentorship position with another lawyer or non-attorney advocate who you really respect and you think is a quality professional. If you can simply be good at your job, the clients will come. And the business aspects of it, I think, will naturally follow, because usually if you're busy with clients, you hopefully will be able to, you know, either develop a fee structure or have other means of generating income due to just being successful at your work.
Yeah, I second that. In terms of passion goes a long way. And as when I first became involved with fundraising for children with autism, I had no background in that. I had been a television producer and executive for over 25 years, but I found it was much like putting together a TV show. You just put the event together, you put the same passion and intensity, and I didn't have a background in nonprofits, nor did our board. And we've learned along the way and added people that we've needed to add, but I think the intention, stating your intention and getting information, there's a lot of people that will mentor you, right?
Absolutely. We've got a lot of attorneys here in Los Angeles who've mentored Janine Steele and myself, and we're really thankful to the wisdom that they've imparted, and we continue to collaborate with lots of them. So there are people out there who are really talented, and the more you work with folks with talent, the more hopefully some of that talent will rub off.
And since you brought up fundraising, I want to bring up, because you're a nonprofit and you have to do a certain amount of fundraising to be able to give those free services to the families that you've been talking about. So let our audience know what kinds of things that you do to raise money and how they might be helpful to you.
We just had this September our annual dinner called A Cause for Celebration, and we actually featured our ACAP program, that's Advocating for Children with Autism program. And it's an annual dinner. Folks buy tickets, people donate items to our silent auction, and it was a huge success. And we'll be having another dinner next year, probably also in the month of September. We also have a wine tasting event in the early part of the year that takes place in Manhattan Beach. We're always looking for folks to buy tickets, all of which are considered charitable donations, as well as for businesses, again, to donate items to our silent auction. So we have events, we solicit for our auctions, and we also take individual donations throughout the year. From supporters all over Southern California and even nationally. We've gotten checks from supporters on the East Coast as well who believe in the work that we're doing. Learning Rights also applies for grants. So if you are a foundation or have a family foundation and you want to support excellent work in the area of special education rights and education rights generally, we'd love to apply and see how our organizations can continue to support this very needy population.
And once again, Inés, how do people find out about your fundraising activities and all of the activities that your organization does? Where do they go?
Learning Rights has a website at www.learningrights.org. Check out Learning Rights there, or follow us on Facebook. We're always posting about updates, both in terms of fundraising, as well as where we're doing outreach, and sometimes on case-related success stories and things of interest. So we'd love to have anyone out there to follow us on Facebook and check us out on our website.
Okay.
Wonderful. And I just wanted to say, because, sometimes this crazy mixed up world, here I am, and I used to host a radio show, and I host this show, and I consider myself fairly well connected, but I can't meet everybody, and I don't know everything, right? Because who could? And I went away to a conference in Seattle, and my mother went to a street fair, and she met an artist at a street fair, an artist who was making these beautiful necklaces, pendants, and this one, if you can see, it's a stamp of Queen Elizabeth. She was talking to this artist about the work that she did and said, I want to get one of these for my daughter, but my daughter is allergic to things, and so it has to be nickel-free. Could you make one? And she said, yes, I could do that. I can make one for you. And they got into a discussion, as people will do. Well, that artist was Janine Steele, who co-founded Learning Rights, and this is just something she does in her spare time. She's an artist, and she makes these pendants. Amazing. So my mother said, so they were talking, and my mother said, well, my daughter is somewhat, my grandson is on the spectrum. They got into this big conversation, and my mother said, well, I want to order one of these for my daughter for Christmas. I came home from Seattle, and my mother says, I have a card of somebody that I want to be. I didn't know all of this, right, that this existed, but she said, I have a card of somebody you have to have on your show. And so I had Janine on the radio show, and then right after that, my mom died. And when I was going through her stuff, she had a list of things that she wanted to give for Christmas presents. And she had said to me, there's something I want to give you for a Christmas present, but she didn't tell me what. So on the list of things, it was the necklace for Shannon. And I said to my husband, I don't know what this is. I know she ordered something. I don't know what it is. And he said, I don't remember. And I said, you were at this thing. And I wasn't connecting it that it was Janine. I wasn't at all. But I went so I've interviewed her on the radio, went to that street fair a year later, and went up to the person and found out that it was Janine and that she had this for me. It's the last gift that I have from my mom.
These connections, aren't they 6 degrees of separation, right, Inés?
So anyway, so Janine has an extra special place in my heart always, and next to my heart. So please make sure that you say hello to her from me.
I will. Janine is a woman of many talents. I like to joke she's a lawyer by day, artist by night. Like many of us, we have secret lives, and both for Janine and I, we bond on having alter egos of the artistic variety.
Well, and hopefully she won't mind that I told on her secret life and her secret talent. But she makes these beautiful pendants, and she helps people all the time. So I think you guys are amazing, and I have a very special connection that's very close to my heart, having to do with you guys. And I hope that not only will people take advantage of the services that you provide, they'll help spread the word to let other people know and help you to fundraise. And maybe you just inspired a young man in Wisconsin to follow in your footsteps.
I hope so.
Well, we thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on the show. Happy to be here anytime.
Thank you, Inés. And I'm looking forward to working with you in 2015 on the Autismo y Familia conferences.
Fantastic. Learning Rights will be pleased to be there.
Okay.
And we'd like to be invited to your dinner next year.
Yes, please.
You're there. You'll get the
first I've heard of this. We want to support you.
All right. Yes, we'd like to support you. All right. Well, you have a wonderful week.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So wonderful to have an opportunity to talk to her.
Yes, it is.